Yes. Well, we don't need a countdown because we have the buttons, I guess. As such, we're going to do movement timing because Natty knows what's up. And we're going to go right from here. Yeehaw. Do some claps.
Yeah, whoa.
Woo! Thanks, boys. Me too. All right. Take my phone.
So this is Crash Team Racing, which is the direct, I guess, follow-up to Crash 3, which we just saw, where the world is in terror from an alien called Nitrous Oxide. And he's challenging all the citizens of the Earth to race in kart racing. And if he wins, he's going to turn the planet into a concrete parking lot. And we don't want that to happen. So we're going to go through 16 races and 4 boss races. And then we're going to race against Oxide in the hopes of beating him and stopping him ruling the Earth or something. So basically, it's a kart racer. And the main speedrun is going to be driving sideways. So what you're seeing Paul doing here is he's going to be driving sideways, and he's going to build up his boost bar at the bottom right. And every time he fills it nearly up to the top, he's going to press the other shoulder button, and it's going to do a mini turbo. And this is all about keeping what we call reserves. So CHL basically works off a reserve system. So every time you get like a boost or a mini boost or like a landing boost, if you do a certain distance in the air, you can get the boost off that as well. You build up these reserves, and every single frame you lose reserves that you've built up. And as soon as you lose your reserves, you lose the fire that comes out the back of your car, and you basically slow down. So what we want to do is we want to keep this fire for as long as we can during each track. So the first track's quite basic. We're just gonna, there's this shortcut here, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we just jump up and cool, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Insane.
And basically this track is just drifting and reserves and stuff. You only get the maximum amount of boost if you either jump in the air for quite a long time, so about 150 frames or something. Well, it's whatever the counter comes up to 150. Or if you go over a turbo pad, which is the green pads, and they will give you the max amount of boost you can get. And we want to make sure we hold that boost for as long as possible during these tracks. So we're going over to Rouge Tubes now, which is going to follow the same thing. Like every track is going to follow the same formula of driving sideways and doing these mini turbos.
They're all also themed from like the previous Crash games, but you didn't see more than 3, but there are levels themed after 3 later on.
Yeah.
Well, this one actually is from 3. This is the swimming levels, or the under pressure and whatever.
Yeah, but instead of like making like a jet ski level, they made it a kart level, which is cool. So this track features where we're going to call the most like awesomely named, I think this is really cool, it's called a Speed Ghost. So what happens here is we're going to drive down this hill, and then we're going to drive forward. And what we do is we keep that speed that the hill gives us. It's called a Speed Ghost because I guess it's like a ghost or something, I don't know. And you go really fast. And we then, when we go down this hill, we want to keep the speed we gain by froggying, which is also very aptly named because you're froggying like a frog. And you just hop repeatedly. And that keeps the speed from your Speed Ghost. So you want to Speed Ghost, then froggy, and you go really fast.
These strats are not named by the speedrunning community, and instead some 15-year-old French kids doing time trials back in the day named all of these strats.
Yeah. And there's also a really cool trick called a Peruvian here, where you get an extra Speed Ghost. Because Speed Ghosts can't just be called Speed Ghosts, they can be called Peruvians as well. Because the guy who found it was from Peru, because that's very aptly named. So, yeah, here we're going to see if we can get this, like, speed. And then this little ditch here. Like, when you put the Speed Ghost, you can add more speed to it. Like that? Oh, yeah. And then the AI just like blocks you, and it's not even fun anymore. So yeah, there we go, there we go. And we're just going to use the intended shortcut. Obviously, if you drive on the dirt, you slow down. So we want to make sure we drive on the dirt as little as, well, we have to drive on it there because it's quicker. It cuts the corner, but obviously slows us down. So when we are driving on the dirt, we want to make sure we're not like on the ground as long as possible. So like jumping into the dirt's usually quicker. And we're going to see on the next track as well. Yeah, a lot of these tracks are going to follow the same kind of formula of going down a hill, keeping the speed, and then going really fast, and then, yeah, it's a cool speedrun.
Cool, nice.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
There's a little tiny strat that I did at the start of Cove, and I'm going to do here too. I turned the camera backwards. The game lags in certain places, so this saves the lag frames, and the game just runs faster.
Yeah. This is the PAL version of the game running as well. Which has less lag because it's 25 frames a second compared to the NTSC version, which is like the laggiest thing ever known to man. It's really bad, but it's still faster, so yeah, it's cool.
Barely.
Yeah, and you might have noticed that like there's no text on screen. So basically, because PAL has all the different languages for all the IRLs who don't speak English, basically we can, when we see that menu, we can just press triangle and it doesn't select any language. And it puts the game in this languageless state, which is like the language glitch. And what it does is it shuffles like all the cutscenes around. We're going to see some cool boss effects later on, as we're going to not like, I guess, spoil the secret now. But it also removes all instances of text. I think some people said that it loads the debug version of the Japanese. Yeah, like it's supposedly like the Japanese version of the game because there's no Japanese language to load, which is like a pretty cool theory, I guess. But basically we do this because it skips a cutscene later on in the game. And it also skips Aku telling us that we've won a trophy because not only does it remove text, but it also removes all the voice lines and all the cutscenes and help texts. Well, not all the cutscenes, they still play, but there won't be anyone talking to us. So Mystery Caves is a pretty straightforward track like we've seen. This is the second track where we're going to get Wumper on purpose. You notice there's Wumper crates in the tracks, the grey ones, grey ones, the stripy ones you can see just there. And basically, each Wumper makes the cart faster. And then once you get 10 Wumper, you have the max amount of extra speed boost that you can get. So some tracks like this one, because it's quite long, each lap's about 38 seconds if you're fast, and Paul got 39, so not very fast.
Yeah, like Sita's brutal. When you hit boss, you just lose a lot of time.
But your average lap's about 38 seconds, 37 seconds are a good lap. And because it's such a long track, it's quicker to get the Wumper crates than to just skip them entirely. So it's a very minor speed boost, but it's worth getting them in the longer tracks. And here we can see examples of the language glitch. Aku shows up, and because he doesn't have anything programmed to say to us, he just disappears after a certain amount of time. In the NTSC version, he starts talking to you, like here he's like something about, I don't know, speed or whatever. And you can just like, you have to skip it yourself, but in the PAL version, he doesn't say anything, so he just disappears. It's quite unnerving, really. He just kind of stares at you a little bit, but that's fine. So, now we're in Surrey Speedway.
Very special track.
It's a special track. The major difference between, well, one of the major differences between like PAL and NTSC is that PAL has these faster speed ghosts. So I don't know, the ghost is like more buffed on PAL. He's pretty strong, he's pretty cool, and he makes you want to go faster. So in this track, hopefully if like Paul can get it here. So here's the first speed ghost, and this second one we just use the swirl and just flick down like that, and we just get like the max amount of speed from a speed ghost you can get, and then froggy it out. And on PAL, you get a lot more speed than NTSC, and it just like shoots you forward. And you basically get this speed ghost just from jumping off the tiny little bit of hill that's on the end of the track. And compared to NTSC, you save like at least half a second a lap if you get a good lap, just because of how powerful the speed ghost is on PAL. It's not really explained why, I guess. It's just the differences between frame rate.
That's fine.
That sucks.
I still have the SG, so like getting squashed is okay.
This is like the first track that I guess has like cycle-based obstacles that can be in the way. They're always the same cycle. The cycle resets when you enter the level, so we always know where the barrel roughly is going to be. Oh, nice TT.
Yeah, that was really good.
And on PAL, usually the first barrel is about the same time as the second barrel. So the first barrel's up there, so we know the second barrel is going to be around about up there as well. It's not going to be in the way. But if the first barrel is like about to hit you, then you have to worry about the second barrel because it's slightly behind the first barrel. There we go, get that speed boost. Now you can obviously tell that you're going faster, but you can also see by the speedometer in the bottom right.
Shout out to the one guy who came to my chat. I finally have played the tunnel map.
Yes. Paul, can you play the tunnel map? Yes. Good. Now we have the first cutscene. Even though Ripperoo speaks a lot of gibberish and absolutely nothing to us, it's still classed as something in the language, so he doesn't say anything, he just kind of moves his mouth about. And he actually just laughs at you for like 20 seconds, well, 10 seconds or something. But yeah, there's another instance of the language glitch. He's not going to say anything as we turn this off. And now we get to see Rouge Tubes again, and we've seen this track. Basically, the only difference here is we've got like this blue dog who's trying to beat us. He's the first boss. He's going to throw a load of nitro TNTs on the track, which we're not even going to see because we've already overtaken him. So if there's any like donations or something, then this is a good time to read them, I guess.
Yeah, there are plenty of donations.
First of all, we have a $2 anonymous donation saying, "Good luck for the rumple. Make sure to get all those hentai turbos." Donation goes towards making bird Pokemon named Buff Seagull. Got a $2 donation from Martin Forsland saying, "Sub 50 when B closed brackets."
I have a PSP with me, so I can do it.
Another $2 anonymous donation saying, I'm probably going to butcher this, Josku Kaijet today and figured I would put a part of the saved money for a good cause. Great to see a fellow Finn run a game my friends and I spent hours on after school a long time ago. Save the children. We got a $1 donation from Mr. Nicker saying, "Hi Paul, it's your mod here, Mr. Hitler. I hope your run goes well. Gas, gas, gas. Got to step on the gas. Love from the CTR community."
Yeah.
And finally, a $10 donation from Carly saying, "Good luck, Puller, for your run. Don't forget to praise the almighty hot salmon."
What the heck?
Nice. There's some hot memes right there. Okay, so there we go. That's Hub 1, where you basically do 4 tracks, then you do another track again. So we're going to see some tracks twice, which is pretty cool for a marathon, because then I don't have to say anything. You've seen it already. And now we're going to travel to Hub 2. Now, the cool thing about this is that between hubs, it can lag. And it's not necessarily random, but usually if you've done a run on the console first, the lag's not so bad. But what the lag does is it just delays your inputs. It just like, the game just like wants to load the track. It's like, stop doing things. We're going to load the track.
Sometimes also drops them entirely.
Yeah, and basically you just kind of drive in a straight line while the game's loading. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad to hit. Yeah.
Nah,
Okay.
we already made it past.
Okay. So now we're in Hub 2 of 4. And this is the first track where we have a major RNG issue. There is yes, issue.
This is not even the biggest one, but yes.
Yeah. RNG isn't like the biggest. Well, I guess it is a pretty major thing if you're starting to like go into world record pace runs. But the first case of like minor-ish RNG is this track, and basically we need a. We haven't talked about items, but they're not very useful for when you're going fast anyway. So we're gonna get an item, and we need an item we can shoot forward.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, there we can use
My
that.
marathon PB for getting this skip so far is 1 out of 3, so if I can beat it here, that's good.
So what you basically need an item for is to throw it at that shortcut door, and it opens up, and then you can just take the shortcut. There we go. With a clap on this RNG, it's pretty good. We got 2 out of 3 already. There's a pretty cool speed ghost here. If you get it right, you can just skip straight across that grass and just keep frogging out. It's a bit harder on PAL, because another problem with PAL is that your jumps aren't as high. You only jump about 23 on a little meter at the bottom, whereas on NTSC you jump 26. And that can actually play quite a big difference. NTSC is considered easier, which is why I run it. I'm not very good. Whereas PAL is like the skill run. There's people like Paul who like prefer PAL for some reason.
It's fun. It goes faster.
Yeah,
see? I did it.
You go faster, but like not really. It just feels faster. But like a lot of skips can be a bit difficult on PAL because you jump lower. Oh, there we go. We can't use the nitro, so we have to take the long way around here.
That loses 3 seconds per lap. So
yeah,
if you
2 to 3 seconds.
If you lose it twice in a run, then you probably can't PB if you're like high level. That's fun always.
At least it's like early on.
Yeah, it's fun.
But like the other instance of RNG is, well, it's I guess kind of RNG as in it's how the AI drive the track. They can sometimes block you because they take a certain config. Sometimes they can, if you're some tracks where you drive really fast, you can overtake the AI and they might actually attack you, which is a bit of annoying. Because it's always a good idea to keep an item just in case the AI try to shoot a missile or something at you. Because usually we outrun them, but if we start lapping them, they can actually shoot missiles at you, as in because you're in first place and they're in last and they want to win. So you can just throw an item behind you and block the missiles. So this is Coco Park.
The best track in the game.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool track because there's an inconsistent skip, which is where you jump over the grass. Yeah, look how cool that is. Yeah, you didn't do it right. Whoa, yeah,
Yes,
that's really cool.
Great. Do it again sometime.
But yeah, basically what you need to do is you need to froggy at the right time where you start jumping, and then you can jump over that bit of grass quite quickly, and it saves like a bit of time. But if you do it wrong, it's really slow and it's really embarrassing.
It's not that bad. Like, it doesn't look bad, but it really loses a lot of time. Cause
yeah,
there are 3 main components to this track, starting off with the skip, which that went okay, and I'll
Yeah,
get a good speed from it. And then it's followed up by 2 SGs, and because of PAL being really bad with its jump height compared to NTSC, it's way harder to get any of these right on PAL.
Yeah.
Even though the SGs are strong, you still won't get them.
This is definitely an NTSC, like, a more friendly track. Because your froggies are high, you spend less time on the grass that slows you down, and you can get a good propulsion off the hill.
Oh, hey.
I mean, that was kind of salvaged as well, because you can get a speed ghost at the end of that hill, which gives you, if you get a bad jump, it sometimes like saves you like that, and then you get a speed ghost off this last hill.
Aw, didn't get it. But 24 is good.
Regardless. Oh, okay. Yeah, double 20, 24, low 25. That's
yeah,
fine.
lap 2 one's good.
So now we're going to get into the first track with quote-unquote a big major skip, or unintended shortcut, which we're going to see. Basically, well, I guess we'll see it when we load the track, because there's all this filler in the middle. This is not very interesting. Aku's still trying to say things to us. Don't really care.
You might have noticed I done the camera thing, and if I told you it saves time, you probably wouldn't be right, because I'd only do it on no marathon watches.
Okay, so this is Papoose Pyramid. It's quite a short track, and it's, like I said, it's the first time we see a shortcut used. It's unintended. So first we got this kind of pretty annoying spiral, and then we can get a speed ghost off this grass, and then
Oh, that was a good
corner.
one. Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then you take the intended shortcut, then you go into here, and then you jump off the track, and then you land on the wall, and then the wall tries to push you back on the track. So you kind of have to keep readjusting your angle, because like I said, the game's trying to push you back on the track, because it knows you're in a position that you're not supposed to be. So it's like, get back on the track, you're supposed to be racing over here. And then we're going to just try and skip and then jump straight over to the final, the finish line. If you're a little overzealous with your shortcut, you can actually jump over the finish line here, and it just doesn't count your lap. You can just be a little bit off the ground, and it just straight up doesn't count your lap. So you just have to land kind of before the finish line.
There's another track you can do that in, but we avoid it by actually just not jumping.
Yeah. I think I haven't really gone over why we're using Coco for this run. Coco doesn't have the highest speed strat, but she has the second highest speed strat. Dini and Tingo, Dini? Yes, Dino. Dingodile, that's the one. Dingodile and Tiny have like the highest speed strat. And in a straight line, they go faster than Coco, but they have like the worst handling. So even though that they're the fastest in some tracks for like time trials, they're not the fastest across all the tracks. So we use Coco. She has the second highest speed strat, and she has the highest acceleration strat, and she doesn't, but she doesn't, what's the word? Well, she doesn't lose handling too much. So we use her there, because tracks like Pepper's Pyramid, where you've got the spiral right at the start, you can't do that spiral as Tiny and Dingo. So that's quite a good example of where you can actually lose quite a lot of time if you use them. So that's why we use Coco. Engine also has the same stats as Coco, but I mean, why would you drive as Engine when you can be as Coco? I mean, like, she's pretty cool. Coco's quite, Engine's quite lame.
There's a legitimate reason for not using Engine 2. He has the missile sticking out of his head, and it like throws me off entirely.
Yeah, I tried playing with him, and it feels really annoying.
Yeah. It's a minor thing, but it helps you out when you're cornering.
Yeah. I mean, believe it or not, people still run his engine besides this. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with them, but yeah. So here we've got this pretty cool dirt shortcut. Basically what we do there is we get a speed ghost off that first hill, and that carries the speed across, and then we can kind of drift it out if we need, if we don't have enough speed. And that's pretty much all we got on this track. The very last ramp, you'll see Pull do a couple of froggies before it, which is called like double jumping or cresting. And what that does is this game kind of sometimes propels you forward. And so what we're trying to do there is we're trying to get like a very small speed boost where the game pushes you forward, depending on how you jumped on the ramp. Like I said, it only saves frames or milliseconds, but like there's a lot of time trial strats there. They're pretty much free to go for, so like you don't really lose anything going for them, unless you just completely mess up your timing and lose time, obviously, and fail. But yeah. The armadillos are on a cycle here. They're not really much of a problem on PAL because they're always over there. And then you can jump off the map. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It saves like 0.06.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now we get to see where the language glitch plays a part.
There we go. Hey.
So here we got Pinstripe on Papoose jiggling fat body. Obviously, Pinstripe's not supposed to be here. He's the 4th boss, but he's on the head of the 2nd boss. And basically, for reasons unknown, the language glitch just swaps all the cutscenes around. So Papoose obviously supposed to be like this fat guy like with a tiki hat.
You can see him briefly there.
Yeah.
I almost want to believe they did that deliberately.
Yeah.
It's just too good.
So it's pretty funny that we get the cutscenes moved about, but let's see later on we also skip a cutscene. So yeah, this is exactly the same as what we've seen before. Papoose pretty annoying because he throws these flasks, potions, whatever you want to call them, onto the
beakers.
Beakers, yeah, the official.
You learned that yesterday.
Yeah, the Crash Mania wiki calls them beakers, so we have to adopt that. But he throws on the track, and they're not a problem until like lap 3, which we'll see. But if we've got any donations, then now's a pretty good time to read them out.
Yeah, we've got quite a few donations. Our first one is a anonymous $2 donation that says, "It's almost 3 AM and I sure could do with some sleep, but there's no way I can miss a fellow Finn plane. Let's see if the announcer can pronounce Finnish. Traversia Suomesta." We have a $5 anonymous donation that just says Ziha. We have a $3 donation from Jubilius that says, "Henlo, it's me, Jubilius, been staying up a bit late to catch your run. Have a good one, buddy." $5 from Lek that says, "You guys do realise that Riveroo is a kangaroo, right?" And $20 from Util that says, "Hey Paul, just wanted to wish you good luck and may your sacred fires blessed."
So you have to understand, when you do speedruns, you don't understand the law.
The deep speedrun, CTR time trial law. The fire is sacred. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, good job, Paul.
Hey, thanks, Todd.
I did the thing I did earlier.
Okay, so now Pinstripe's back to lecture us about how we beat him or something. He's going to roll his eyes here. He's not very happy. But he's still in the jiggling fat guy's body, so he's pretty funny. Okay. So now we're going to go to Hub 3. We've got 3 keys, so we're going to head on over to Hub 3. The Aku hints also... Oh, 2 keys, sorry. The Aku hints also stop. So each track, we're just going to go... We're going to complete it, and then we're just going to go straight into the next track. He's not going to bother us with hints and tips.
Hey. Yeah,
but that's a pretty cool instance of lag.
Yeah.
It just completely screws up your racing lines, and it's like, how do you recover from this? We're going to reduce lag here. Let's say it's like a frame or something. But to stop the game loading the whole hub, we just change the cameras to behind us, and it doesn't load it, and it saves, like I said, frames.
Yeah, the lag is invisible to like actual visual eye, but you'll see it when you actually play the game.
Yeah. So this is Blizzard Bluff. It's a favorite track among many runners. Because it just completely kills your run sometimes. Because if you fail the shortcut here, you lose 10 seconds.
And even if you don't, the AI can still kill it.
Yeah,
just for fun.
It's not necessarily RNG, but yeah, you can have the AI in the way. So here we go. Paul's going to go for it here.
Hey.
So what you do there is you do a jump, and then you go into a second, like a double jump, and do a drift. And then that pushes you into the air, and it propels you forward, and you fly over that fence. Obviously, if you fail it, you just crash straight into the fence and you have to go the intended way. So you lose all your speed. You're driving on the snow, which is slower. And then you obviously have to go the long way around. And it literally just loses straight 10 seconds.
There you go. Let's see what happens. So a good lap time would be roughly around 23, and it's going to be a 33 instead.
And shout-outs to Paul for demonstrating that. He did it on purpose.
I did.
There's also a pretty neat speed ghost at the end of the track here as well. You can take that turbo pad and jump on the on the downhill of that last hill, which gives you a pretty cool speed boost. But yeah, if we see the difference between lap 1 and 2, lap 1's always slower, and it's 25 seconds. Lap 2 is 32 seconds. We want to aim for about 22, 23 second laps.
Oh, cool.
It should be at least at 23, I think.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay.
That's surprisingly low, actually, for losing fire.
Yeah. And also the recovery on the second lap wasn't too bad because you only lost like 9 instead of 10.
But like, if you're going for like PB attempts or world record runs, like that's pretty much just a run over, and it's just a really minor thing that can go wrong, and it's just that's it. And that's a common theme with this run. If you've just failed a shortcut, because you have to do every shortcut at least 3 times. You have to do boss tracks 6 times, and if you fail one of the shortcuts, then that's it. You might as well just restart your run. Because CTR is like such a tight game.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier, where I hit the wall. You actually lose your reserves too, so that like completely kills off like 6 seconds if there are no turbo pads nearby.
But at least for the the strat pool failed earlier, that's a very easy alternative way to do it. But I don't know how much lower it is, but
it's about like a second. Well, not a second, like half a second each lap.
Yeah, it's like impossible to fail. But yeah, if you suck, so you need to.
That's one of the things with this game is you can go for the harder versions of strats, and it only saves a little bit of time, but you have to do each thing 3 times. So with that little bit of time you save, just times it by 3, and then you've got like a bigger time save. Yeah. So this track features an actual intended shortcut. We can just drive across the track there. You can get into it without, you can leave it without losing your fire. But you have to watch out for the minecart cycles. They are also again on the same cycle each time. And I know Paul has the times memorized. So
yeah, but no, I don't.
Because before you come up to this corner, you can kind of look at the timestamp and think, is there a car going to come out? Am I safe to go for this shortcut? Because what the minecarts will do, they'll just flatten you. And you can actually outrace the minecarts on PAL. With the game running at 25 FPS, every animation, like the boulders in Bluff, the rolling barrel in Surrey Speedway, for example, and as well as the minecarts, they all run about 5 FPS slower. Whereas on the NTSC version, they're like bullet trains. They don't care. They're not stopping for anyone. So they're a bit more of a pain. So you have to watch out. But on PAL, you can actually outrace the minecarts quite easily. And you can also, if you go into the shortcut slightly behind a minecart and hit the back of it, you can also get flattened by that. So that's something to watch out for. So now we're getting into the Polar Pass.
More unintended skips.
Yeah, more into unintended skips. This is actually, for me, this is definitely one of the hardest skips in the game, which we're going to see coming up, which basically relies on jumping on a wall that's going to propel us over a lake, and we're going to hope that we get enough speed that we can make the jump. So here we're going to turn around, get the boost from this turbo pad, and then jump on this wall, and then hopefully make it across, which we have. And then obviously we have to do that 3 times, which is pretty cool. But that saves a few seconds. Because that basically cuts out a part of the track where you have to go all the way around. So it's like cuts a corner, unintendedly. There is a quicker setup for this track, which is more a time trial strat, or if you're like a particular warm fish who goes for it as well, where you can basically just U-turn straight off the bat. So instead of having to turn around and take the turbo pad, you can just do a U-turn, and it's really precise, and it's actually quite difficult, because this is another instance where PAL suffers from having a lower jump height. So you have to make sure you get enough speed, because you can go straight from there instead of having to do this turning around. Obviously, it saves a few seconds again each lap. But like I said, there's only one runner, the mysterious Hot Salmon, who's ever gone for it in actual any % runs, because it's so precise. And it's something you'd expect to go for in like a time trial. Because we're playing as Coco, and the time trials for this track would use Penta Penguin, who has max speed and max acceleration, max handling, has like max stats across the board. It's a lot easier to pull it off as him as Coco, sorry. So this is definitely a run killer. It's definitely a shortcut, and not a lot of new runners might do as well. They might be too scared. I mean, I only did it when I had like a semi-decent time, because I was like a really baby runner. I couldn't do anything. I hope we get a 3 out of 3.
Sure, why not?
This saves like 5 seconds per lap.
Yeah. And again, with this, if you fail it and fall down, you have to like get speed to do it again. You can't just do it without having like a full turbo speed, or like getting the turbo pad and having some speed to do it. So you have to do a full turnaround. Yeah. And here we're just going to cut this corner as well, just for a little bit of time save. We don't need to go all the way around there.
We also rolled a bunch of items on lap 3. You don't want to leave them behind on laps 1 and 2, but you can get, if you roll it well enough, you can still get turbo items in first place. And it doesn't really save time, as a turbo acts as another mini turbo, but mid-air it boosts you forward a bit, so that speeds you up. And mainly, if you hit a wall, you immediately get fire back from the turbo, so it's like a backup item more than it's an actual speed-up item.
Yeah, shoutouts to Carly, who just throws items on laps 1 and 2 and then has to take wider turns. So now we've got the most exciting track in the game, Tiny's Arena. It's 3 whole laps that are about over a minute each. And it basically, there is a pretty big skip here, which is deemed as really stupidly difficult to do as Coco, so let's not go for it because it saves 13 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's only been done like once by one person as Coco, but the time trials have also only gotten it like twice in a single track run.
Yeah. yeah, if you can imagine like a time trial is like 3 minutes long, they only went for it twice and then decided to not go for it in like the 3rd lap. So it's that difficult that even time trials are scared of going for it. But yeah, you slide over one of these fences, like walls, whatever, and you skip straight to the end of the track, and it saves about 13 seconds, something about that, each lap. But like I said, it's just something that's way too difficult to go for in a single segment run. But a lot of this track is basically making sure you do good cornering, getting propulsions off hills as well. And that's pretty much it. Like, if you've got any donations, then feel free to read them. There's not much else to go through on this track.
There's a $1 donation from Evil46 saying ducks exactly 27 times. I don't know if that's a coincidence or it's just some formatting process, I guess. But thanks a lot. We have a donation for the 2nd stream, but you know, not gonna read that out obviously. Besides that, that's it. Get your donations in, guys. Yeah, if you want us to read them out, let's go.
I mean, while this track is like relatively boring in that nothing's actually happening, it's one of the more input-heavy tracks in the entire game. It has a lot of tech going to it.
Yeah.
This is like pretty much your skill determining, I don't know, line, I guess. I don't know, what do you call it?
Yeah, you definitely see quite a big difference between like the top-tier runners and the newer runners, just because of how many minor optimizations there are. Like even this last corner, like just cutting out where we're gonna just do a U-turn instead of just drifting around that. You get that fire straight back. Like that's just one of the things that are in this track. There's just so many minor things, like the way you jump off hills, the way it propels you forward. Make sure you get like the tightest lines possible. I think one thing we haven't mentioned with the mini turbo tech is, even though you want to do fuller mini turbo, so you want to fill that bar as full as possible, just so you get as many reserves as possible. Sometimes for sharper corners, you might want to just cut your mini turbo short. So here, Paul's going to cut his mini turbos a little bit shorter, and basically what it does is it pushes you around the corner a bit tighter. So you can take these corners tighter, because this track we don't really worry about reserves too much. You might lose reserves if you mess up quite a lot, but for PAL especially, you will keep your reserves for the whole track. One thing to note, NTSC actually loses reserves quicker.
For some mysterious reason, even though we science it out and we shouldn't.
Yeah, we haven't quite figured out exactly why. We always thought it was frame rate, but apparently NTSC actually loses reserves slower than PAL. But for whatever reason, NTSC has less reserves than PAL. So some tracks you can actually lose your reserves, whereas PAL's still fine with
Here's a cutscene skip from the language college.
Yeah, cool. Here, we're going to miss a cutscene and go straight into Komodo Joe. Woo, yeah, that's it. Clap.
Yes,
you pressed triangle at the start of the game. Well done, Paul. And that saves about 21 seconds over NTSC, which sounds like quite a lot, considering NTSC and PAL are pretty much quite even in this game. But because of how much quicker NT loads and how much the frame rate can save, just from like a 50-minute run, the small time saves that the language glitch saves on PAL is pretty much counteracted by the higher frame rate on NTSC. So I personally would rather run NTSC just because it's a higher frame rate and it's generally easier, and I'm not losing time for it. Whereas, like I said, Paul's like masochist or something. He'd rather run the harder version of the game.
It's faster, maybe.
Yeah. It's like a couple of seconds faster, if that, on PAL. So, but I think a common trend with a lot of speedruns is it's very hard to really say which version's faster, because a lot of it's down to frame rate. And it's like, say, you can't just say, oh yeah, PAL loses this amount of time because of frame rate, because it doesn't, you know, you might have a longer run which loses more time, or a shorter run that loses less.
The two versions evening out, however, makes CTR really accessible game in that you can run any version and you won't really lose time unless it's console lag.
Yeah. The only version you don't want to run is the NTSC-J version. For some reason, like, obviously, because it's in Japanese, all the cutscenes are different, and the Japanese like to change things anyway in Crash games. And the last cutscene in particular is about over like a minute and a half longer on NTSC-J than it is on NTSC-U and PAL, and you just straight up lose time just because of the cutscenes.
That was my Mind's Redemption run from before.
Yeah, so that's how Dragon Mines is supposed to be. So now we've got Oxide, who's the final boss, and he's just going to talk about running a race sim or something, and Komodo Joe's there as well. In the background, you can see his hands. He's just going to stare at us. The Komodo Joe cutscene's longer than what Oxide has to say, so we have to kind of just look at this kind of...
I'm staring back.
Yeah.
There we
Okay, so now we're going to head on to Hub 4, because we've got 3 keys, so we can go over to the next hub. Unfortunately, we don't actually have any like hub skips in this game, but I think it's been tested that if you do skip a hub, you still can't do the tracks anyway.
I did skip this door in particular, actually.
Yeah, this is a door you can skip, but you can't actually do any of the tracks there, because the game knows that you haven't gotten the right items to do it. So not only do you need keys to open the doors, you only need keys to actually get into the tracks as well. So I guess Naughty Dog are like miles ahead of their time, stopping those pesky speedrunners or something.
Clearly not. However.
So this track's... Now we're in Hub 4. We get introduced to Super Turbo Pads, which are like normal turbo pads, but they have Super in front of them. They're pretty cool.
They don't look any different, though.
Yeah, they look exactly the same. And again, very appropriately named by our beloved CTR time trial community, we have what's called a Ultimate Sacred Fire. So it's just Sacred Fire, but it's like a little bit more ultimate. It's pretty cool. And basically what happens is the game will reset your reserves. Well, it doesn't take it reset them, but it gives you this speed boost, and you cannot add to your reserves. It will just reset you to 0. But the speed boost is like really fast, and basically it will last as long as you have reserves. So here we see we're going to jump on this pad, and then the game is just going to send us really fast. So you can obviously see that we're moving a lot faster here. And this will last as long as we have reserves. So obviously we can't boost in this state, because as soon as you either get an MT or a landing boost or just a turbo pad, it would completely overwrite the USF state. So we can only carry it until that first turbo pad, and then we have to like frog out what speed we have left. But obviously we can only USF as long as we have reserves to keep it up. So if you mess up your mini turbos, or if you hit a wall where your reserves will just reset straight to 0, then you can't get the full USF potential.
Yeah, hitting a wall is especially bad. Like, this is exactly why CTR is so brutal in Hub 4 especially, because if I hit a wall like right there, I would not get anything from this anywhere near this speed.
Like, sometimes it's worth just going for the turbo pad anyway, just because you haven't got the speed. Because it still does give you some speed, and if you run out of reserves halfway through your USF, you can still like froggy like we are now, and you can keep some of your speed. Because how froggying works in this game is it doesn't give you speed, it just kind of conserves what speed you have. Because when you have more speed than the game thinks you should have, you can kind of keep that froggy going, and it keeps that speed. Then the game's trying to like slow you down for more time you're like just driving normally. So you see Paul's just trying to get as many mini turbos.
I got it, yay.
And there we go. We got like a little double jump up that hill, which you can get a landing boost off, which is just another extra reserves that we can add. We can just hop over that hill, that hole as well.
Yeah, the double jump itself saves time, not the landing boost.
But we'll see this kind of trend in the first couple of tracks. There are super turbo tracks super turbo pads in every single track in this hub as well. But we don't see them in tracks Hot Air Skyway and Oxide Station, because we do a pretty big shortcuts in those, which we'll see. But if you do, if you're like new to running, you might want to go for the super turbo pad in all the tracks. So Codex Castle, as Paul likes to say, is a very consistent track. It's basically just squares.
Please.
There's these spiders, which if you hit, you'll spin out and you'll lose all your speed. So we want to make sure we avoid those. But basically, we want to make sure we build as many reserves as we can. Because just like the track before, we have a super turbo pad right at the end, which you want to make sure we get as much speed from. And it's a lot tighter on this track. You can actually run out of the reserves if you don't have enough, if you don't do enough MTs. Paul takes a bit more of a riskier route than me. Right, you can take the extra turbo pads. There's a couple of turbo pads dotted around the track, and here's the USF here. There's a couple of turbo pads dotted around the track, which you can also get if you want, and it's a little bit safer, but obviously you lose a little bit of time. I always go for the super turbo, just regular turbo pad at the top of the stairs, just because it loses the least amount of time. There's a turbo pad coming up here that you might also go for if you're new to running, but if you're pretty experienced with the MTs, you can just cut that corner and ignore the turbo pad. Saves about half a second each lap.
Yeah, the mentioned turbo pad is right there to the left now.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's the one I'd go for, just because you can kind of detour to get it, and it just loses minimal time, but it still loses time. So if you know you can make it without, then absolutely go for it. So also here on this bit, we can just about cut between the we can just about cut between the spider and lap. Pulled it in on lap 1 as well, and it's not as precise and it's not as risky as it looks. So you have got the spider's hitboxes aren't too big. But you can just about cut between those two, and that saves a little bit of time as well. Because when you have a USF, you can't turn quite as well because you just have so much speed. And you can't do your mini turbos. You have to just pure drift. Drifting doesn't necessarily lose your USFs, but it does kind of slow you down. Because obviously you're going sideways instead of forward, so. Now there's a really tricky strat here that I hope Paul goes for.
As marathon tradition says.
There we go. Yeah, whoa! That's a frame perfect trick as well.
Yeah.
So now we've got all the interesting tracks out of the way. We do the same 2 tracks twice, so we got 4 tracks that are all the same. Because that's the fun thing about CTR. You've done all that bit, now you've just got to do the same tracks. And for these are, some people think these are the harder tracks. I think if you start kind of getting to the point where every single track can be a run killer, then these aren't as bad. But we're going to see a couple of unintended shortcuts here.
Check it out, I remembered.
And yeah, Paul remembered to lag reduce here. So looking backwards at the start of the track also saves like a few frames. Again, only on the power position. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do an unintended shortcut, which we have to go backwards to achieve. And what CTR does is for every like pixel of the track we drive on, it loads a pixel a little bit ahead of us. So there we go. There's an insane shortcut that Paul just pulled off. And basically what we have to do is we have to load the track in order to do the shortcut, because we skip so far forward in the track that if we don't load the track, we'll just land on an unloaded part of the track, and then Aku will pick us up as if we fell off the edge. So what we have to do, we have to go forward and then turn around once we've reached the part that we don't have to load anymore. So you'll see Paul will go up to a certain point and then just U-turn, because he doesn't need to go any further than that. So this is about where we need to load the track. There's also a little cut here, which you can just jump over that hole. It's a minor optimization. And then you can do the shortcut here. And then if you land at the base of that hill, you can also get a speed ghost.
I got a decent one earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, you can get a very powerful speed ghost there that also doesn't lose time by not going for it. So it's just one of those minor things that you can go for. And that skip saves about 5 seconds each lap. But this is a track you have to do twice. So it's like half a minute you can save by doing that shortcut, because you have to do it 6 times over the run. If we've got any donations, then we can probably read them on this last lap.
It's a mystery.
Okay, I guess we're just flooded with donations right now. But yeah. Again, this second shortcut, which I don't think I mentioned, is again, you just kind of U-turn there, jump over the fence. You do have to load a little bit of the track. But I think that's one of those shortcuts that some people might have picked up from their childhood. I know I remember I definitely tried it out as a kid. Because it's quite obvious you can just jump over there. I think Naughty Dog tried to stop you doing it by just not letting you do it straight away. So if you just load a little bit of the track, you can just jump over the fence. So now we've got Oxide Station. A lot of people just think this is just a straight up run killer. Luckily the first part of Oxide Station isn't a run killer, it's the second one. It's a bit more difficult. So obviously we have to do these tracks twice, because these are the boss tracks. So again, we're going to see a bit more, a stronger, I guess, version where we're going to definitely load a lot of the track.
And a final instance of AI shenanigans.
Yeah. So, okay, engine's already proving a bit of a problem. But here, Paul's going to slide, well, he's going to drive onto this wall.
Slide, yeah.
I slide, but you can do either or. They're not really much difference in speed.
Okay, that was good.
So luckily the AI didn't get in the way. So we're going to go backwards, we're going to jump on this wall. And then we're going to jump on the later part of the track. If you just try and jump on this part of the track straight away, it just doesn't load, and you get picked up by Aku. So you have to jump down first, and then do a U-turn, or turn around the hole, go straight up the hill, and take that shortcut. I said this is quite a big shortcut. It saves about 10 seconds a lap. So over the course of the run, that's like a minute you can save doing this. And yeah, like I said, some people find it quite difficult. So what you have to do here is you don't jump, you just drive into the wall, and you have to U-turn and brake at the same time. I prefer to do a drift strat, so I drift into the shortcut, and you don't have to do the inputs. You don't have to do a U-turn at all. Oh, that's pretty unlucky. The wall's really bouncy, so if you kind of land on the wall at the wrong spot, like a lot of other places on the track, it just kind of throws you off. It's like, no, get it back on the track.
Oh, hey. Yeah, that was a bad load earlier. You can explain that, actually.
Yeah, so what Paul did there is he didn't go far enough down on the first part of the shortcut, so he didn't load enough track. So although he landed the shortcut, the game didn't load the rest of the track instantly. You have to kind of wait like half a second or something just for it to load the rest of the track. So because not enough track was loaded, even though Paul made the shortcut, the bit of track before him that he drove onto wasn't loaded, so Aku then picks him up. It's just like, it's a very small time loss. And it's not the worst time loss you can get. Like, at least you loaded enough track to do the shortcut, but you still get picked up by Aku there.
Like, that was a bad load earlier.
Oh,
yeah, this is good.
If you mistime your jump as well, you can't get the shortcut, and then...
I mean, if I... One of the spawn... Yeah, I get the good spawn. Okay, well, there we go. Hurrah. Hey.
Okay, there's a backup strat that basically you can just drive go to the right and jump straight back onto the wall. Yeah, there's a second shortcut here. I always forget to mention it because I just think everyone goes for it, but basically we're just going to skip the pretty cool, neat space section of the track where you fly through space and it's really cool jumps just by jumping onto the lower track. That bit of track, for some reason, is actually loaded, and Naughty Dog just completely overlooked it when they were making the game. They can just jump down there. And again, that saves quite a lot. So there's two big shortcuts in that track, but definitely one of them's a lot easier than the other. So now we get some more cutscenes. And this is definitely one of the more broken ones. Komodo Joe just doesn't have a neck for whatever reason, so we can see like Pinstripe's collar. But yeah. And he's got his gun. It's looking pretty menacing. Oh, Paul's not in.
Annoying.
The sombrero was losing him time. He didn't have enough slipstream.
Do you guys mind if we go for a couple of donations?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
All right, we have a $15 donation from Naze saying, "Go Paul. I hope all the bad luck in roulette goes into luck here."
Sure did.
We also have a $10 donation from Anonymous saying, "Finnish Step Mafia sends his regards to Z-Bane on the couch." And we also have a $10 donation that says, "I absolutely love this game. We used to gather up together as a family with my parents and sis and play Crash Racing for hours. We only had 2 controllers, so whoever lost passed the controller to the next person. I was always dominating, me the person who played video games the most, till my sister mum finally got better in the game and started giving me some proper competition. Dad never got any good in the game though. Thanks for bringing up childhood memories. With love from Russia, Mr. Drastische."
You're gonna mention Step Mafia, why don't you mention Benzagram when he's actually like good at video games?
I don't know the references, no.
Yeah, I guess here we've just got like the same as we had before with Hot Skyway. The gimmick is that Pinstripe will shoot bombs behind him. He's not a problem unless you screw up ever so slightly on laps, like any part of laps 1, 2, and 3, in which you get behind him and you can get hit by the bombs. So what you want to do is you want to have a flawless, well, you ideally want a flawless lap 1 and 2, and you won't have to deal with his bombs later on, which Paul's definitely on track to do. So as long as this first part of the track goes fine, then he'll be ahead of Pinstripe entering the lap 3 shortcut, and he won't have to worry about bombs. Like I said, even if you lose like a couple of seconds, it's really a small window. But after here, like Pinstripe's kind of on the part of the track that we skip right now. If we get that quick enough, then now he's behind us, so don't have to worry about him there. Okay, that's a pretty cool little swag strat. I mean, it doesn't save time. Paul's just showing off. So now we have the last track where we have... Well, we've got to talk to Pinstripe Joe, whatever his name is. Again, and then we have a cutscene, which this is one of my favorite. Like, I think this is my favorite, is the Oxide cutscene coming up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, there we go. We have floating head Papu.
Papu has not had a big enough breakfast.
No. He's very small breakfast, very small head. He doesn't have a neck either. He's just like a hologram or something. So now we're on the last track of the game, which unfortunately is Oxide Station again. So that's why people find it a run killer, because this really difficult track you have to do twice. Now, The problem with Oxide is there's quite a bit of RNG with how he throws items on the track. We don't really need to see it lap 1 and 2, but we will see it lap 3. And it can just completely kill your run on the very last lap of the very last track of this game. And so hopefully it doesn't happen here. But if it does happen, there's nothing really you can do apart from having to take a wide line or just take the hit and try and go for the shortcut. So I say hopefully it doesn't happen here. But it's just going to be the same 2 shortcuts. There's some cool speed ghosts at the end here. There's one here. You can get a speed ghost and propel yourself up that hill. Then you can get a second speed ghost just here. Again, you can just go up the hill. And if you get them enough speed, then it saves a little bit of time over each lap. Again, it's always a good idea to optimize a track like this because you have to do it so many times in the run. So every like half a second, every 0.1 is going to count. Oh, that's a cool, that's a cool flask that's thrown on the wrong track. Because Oxide just throws like 2 or 3 flasks out the back of his car when he's throwing them on this part of the track. And they can just land on any part of the track. It doesn't even, he doesn't really matter.
Those in particular actually come from under the track and immediately land on it. So if you are somehow fast enough to reach them, they can immediately hit you.
Yeah.
Also, having a shield here is really good on lap 3.
Yeah. So because we got a shield, we don't have to worry too much about the RNG here. But this is where Oxide's thrown flasks onto the track, and we've caught up with him. So you see, there's all these flasks here, and if any of them block the shortcut, which luckily there we haven't, then if any,
here.
Yeah, then there's that nitro there, which is always in the same spot. So that's a consistent nitro placement, but the bottles are always in like random spots.
Get in there.
Oh,
oh well, shame.
But the thing is that like those flasks can just completely kill your run right at the end. Like we were saying, because it's like such a tight speed run, that like 10 seconds can just kill your run straight up. So.
Hey, Benz, get ready on my phone.
Oh yeah. Gotta press the big red button. And now pull safely in first to save the world from becoming a parking lot.
Yeehaw, yeehaw, yeehaw.
And the PAL version crashes here because, haha, yes.
Yeah, the PAL version can't load the credits, so the game crashes and it's not a speedrun, it's invalid. Just delete the VOD.
Delete the boards.
And yeah, that's Crash Team Racing.
Alright, thanks for the run, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much for the run. I believe Paul will be coming up for an interview in a moment. So we're just waiting for him to come up. You can come up anytime you like, Paul. He's just waiting for him. Yeah. We're going to be getting him on the couch, yeah. So we're just waiting for Paul to come up. He's just chatting with Natty, who was the guy who was talking throughout the run. Probably about the run. So we're just waiting for him, and when he's ready, he'll come up. In the meantime, we'll just very quickly run an ad, and then we'll be back with Paul for a quick interview. And then after that will be SSX3, so don't go anywhere. Oh, okay. Hey guys, I assume we're back. It says the Twitch ads are still running, but I think they're not actually running. Anyway, we're here with Paul, the speed champion with his CTR run.
Haha, yes.
Yes. How do you feel that run went overall? It was alright?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Yeah, actually, yeah. Okay, it was alright.
it was alright. It's pretty good.
Pretty good. I like that's exactly the same time, roughly, that I got every single practice run I did over there.
So you're consistent.
Yeah,
That's
well,
good.
I'm consistently bad, but what can you do?
Jesus Christ.
Nah, it was-
That's
it was a
the
good
record
run, it
holder
was a good
saying
run.
he's bad.
Consistency is always good. Shows that you're actually, you know, put some practice into the game.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
Of
like,
course.
I don't know
Definitely.
why I wouldn't. A good speed run is made out of practice.
Yes.
There you have it, boys.
Ah.
Get good.
Yes. So anyway, tell us a little bit about some other runs that you do, for example.
Actually, later in the marathon, I'm gonna do. I think it's a Friday. Yeah, probably. Anyway, sometime Friday, maybe. Who knows? I'm gonna do New Super Hook Girl, and that's a 5-minute game. So if you have eyes, then go watch it.
Yes.
Pretty much. It's like a physics-based game. I really like difficult games that are as non-RNG based as possible, which Hook Girl happens to be. It has no RNG whatsoever, but it's actually like tech skill-wise really difficult to perform.
Yeah, exactly. That's very similar to CTR, which is a very barely no RNG in that. Aside from
Yeah,
like
well,
items
I
and
mean,
take
honestly, there is, like you saw right at the end.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's
the bonus, but I
little
did
bit.
get a shield, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah, exactly. How did you get into running CTR anyway? What was
Okay, it's a good story, right? So the first speedrun I ever saw was Cosmo's Nails Drying linked on an image board, and I checked it out, and then I thought, hey, what is this? And I scrolled down the bio, and I saw Speedruns Live, and then it was, oh, it's an actual like thing. You can do things with the timer, and I like followed that for I don't know 3 years or something, and I figured out like what should I run, and I was gonna run either RKS, Cave Story, or CTR, but I figured, hey, I like racing games, so I'm gonna play CTR, and now I'm here.
And now you're here, world record holder,
Yeah,
running the
something like
ESA. It's pretty good. So, one thing I would like to mention, I'd like to get your opinion on. Well, recently the Crash Insane Trilogy came out,
yes.
which has very polarizing opinions. A lot of casual people like it. A lot of speedrunners don't like the changes in the physics.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of rumors going around that there may potentially be a CTR HD remaster in the future. What is your opinion on that?
As an idea, it's good, but it's made by it's going to be made by the same people who made CNK, the
Vicarious
inferior kart racer.
Oh,
So
CNK.
I don't have much faith, honestly.
So,
But I mean, if they do it, then I'm gonna make sure I'll like go up there and tell them that they're gonna take speedrunners into game testing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not gonna let the game ship out.
that's what they should do, yeah. So what are your hopes and fears for a potential CTR remaster?
Hopes is that they actually don't make a CTR remaster and instead make a new racing game entirely, because I'm not gonna buy the same games all over again. But
Ruthless.
if I'm gonna get a remaster anyway, then I'll just want CTR like exactly the same physics, and well, I mean, just keep the speed teching, because PS1 is limited, so the tracks work the way they do. They have like less polygons or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they can like keep the same speed teching, it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be game of the year for me. I'm probably gonna buy a PS3 off like some rental store. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if it's gonna have online, then they actually have to rework the item system.
Oh, yeah.
It is really unbalanced. We played like a bunch of multiplayer back in the practice rooms, and it's awful.
Yeah, I know a bit about that.
I like CTR.
Yeah, CTR is pretty good as a former runner
Oh,
myself.
and my fears are exactly what I mentioned. It's gonna be CNK again, and that's bad.
Yeah, CNK is...
The game where if you jump, you go half the speed. Great, you did it. You made a kart racer.
So, what I'd like to know is how much further do you think you can push CTR now? Because we've had the AGDQ run by Natty, and we've had your ESA run, and both of those runs were very similar in time. How much further can CTR be pushed?
It can, well, okay, so there is a skip we mentioned, but we don't do in runs. It's not the Tiny Arena one. That's never gonna be done.
Nah.
But probably. I can't like say that for sure. Anyway, Polar Pass has a skip where you don't turn around and instead you jump directly at the fence. And that saves like 3 seconds per lap, so that's another 9 seconds you can cut off. And from my run, if you drive absolutely god perfect, which you probably won't, you can get like 50 OX.
Right.
So if you add Polar Pass on that, then it's like you can barely get 49. But that's not going to happen. Like feasibly, I think people are gonna get like 51x.
Right. Okay. So, I guess the last real question I have is, what is next for you in the near future in terms of speedrunning?
I ordered Mischief Makers, and now I'm gonna go back and play that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people go to watch your amazing speedrunning?
They can't, because I don't stream much.
Well, but you have a Twitch channel.
Yeah, I mean, it was linked somewhere. It's people on Twitch, but like, I really don't like streaming much. Yeah.
Oh, you're too...
I'm too camera shy.
You're ruthless even on yourself.
Yeah.
It's your...
I have a bad mentality on it. But if I do runs, then you'll see, but you won't see me practice games.
Yeah, why? I don't get it. Anyway, this is Paul. He ran CTR. It was a fantastic run. Go follow him. He is fantastic at his speed games, and he's a really cool personality. So thank you very much for the run.
Do I leave now?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess, yeah.
I guess.
We can talk about whatever. I previously... Oh, Ulti donated. When did you read that? Did you?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
I missed who it was from.
Oh.
Thank you, Ulti. Shame you couldn't be here, but...
Yeah. We could talk about Crash Tag Team Racing.
I could... No, I won't.
We could talk about Crash Bash.
I gave it a moment of like thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm gonna do it. But I can talk about Bash. Bash is bad.
Okay, I think that's all we need to say. I think we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go to a break, and in a little while we're going to have SSX3 coming up soon. Thank you very much, Paul, and we'll see you guys soon. We're also going to be swapping to new hosts, so that's going to be it for me and Boomer. Thank you guys very much. We'll be hosting again more soon. But yeah, we're going to go to an ad break now. Thank you guys very much. Stay tuned for SSX3 and more.
Testing. One, two, three.
Test.
Works fine. I think it works fine. Test. Work. Twerk.
What?
Hello. Oh God.
Hello, everyone. We did not know we were back live again.
Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. How are you doing?
So, I'm Might God, and this is Morale, and we're gonna be your hosts for the roughly next 4 hours.
Yeah, pretty much.
And hopefully we'll be able to make those transitions as entertaining as possible. We're currently working on setting up the next game, which is SSX 2 or 3. I'm not 100% sure right now. And after that is a game we're both looking really
very much forward
to, which is My Summer Car.
My Summer Car.
And I don't want to spoil it, but it's about building your car in Finland. It's like very, very realistic.
Okay. And I've also heard that this game is pretty hyped online. Everyone's looking forward to my
Yes,
summer
and
car,
offline.
so
There will probably be a very big crowd.
yeah, maybe. It's kind of late. It's like 4 in the morning.
Well, I know a few people that will explicitly stay up for that game.
Okay. I mean, we are.
Well, we don't have that big of a choice, but we are. And in the meantime, there's something else that might not be too public yet, but there will be a 70-star race of Super Mario 64 with 72 players, where every player does maximum 1 star, and the 2 other people do something else. And
I'm doing a...
yeah, you're doing a
Yeah.
star. I signed up for a star as well. And we'll be doing that on Thursday, somewhere between 7 and 11 p.m. on the second stream, most likely. Maybe a little bit later. It's not quite that sure yet, but it will probably be on Thursday night.
Which star are you doing?
Star number 19, which is the first star of the ghost level. I don't actually know what it's called.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I think you're doing the 1 star of the underwater Bowser
Yeah,
level.
yeah. When you get the...
Where you need
Chests.
to open the chests.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So
This
look
is-
forward to that.
This
people.
race is going to be very interesting because it has some of the best Super Mario players and then some people who never played the game before. So we have to balance out how we split up the stars. Like there's obviously the easy Toad stars. Those are for players who really can't play the game.
I
And
mean, I haven't played this since I was like
yeah,
a
but
kid.
you just need to swim around and open a chest.
You say that, but it's actually a lot harder than you think.
Well,
I mean, the
I
controllers.
mean, yes,
in
there's a
Super Mario
currency in the
64.
controls, but I mean, come on. I
It's-
managed to learn how to do a wall jump kick and then some other stuff. I don't know.
Man, aren't you fancy? Are you like showing off right now?
Yeah, I'm very good.
F you, man. All right. So, yeah, because of the hiccups that we had with the internet, it might take a little bit extra, but they're working on it. So soon you'll see the next upcoming game.
It shouldn't take too much longer. A little unfortunate that apparently the internet is having some troubles right now, but it should be back up.
It
very
is the
soon.
first time, though, I think.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anything else yet.
Yeah.
Not that I've been up all the time, but you know.
So how are you doing, chat?
Exactly. What brings you to us at most likely 2:33 a.m. in the morning, unless you're from some other time zone?
Kiss for the kids. What the hell? What is this? This is
I think this
Squeaky
is-
and Milk Tent.
Yeah, exactly.
They added like some sort of standard of kissing.
Ever
hosts
since
kissing.
all the hosts needs to kiss. All the hosts need to kiss. Yeah. All right. It looks like we are actually ready now for the game. So take it away.
Ready?
Sweet.
Right.
Fantastico.
We just have to set up the time.
All right. So, hello everybody. It's SSX3 time with Daddy over here on the right-ish. Getting ready for SX all of Platinum Medals single events. Daggy, say hello.
Hello everyone, welcome to the wonderful world on SSX3, of SSX3. Just do a quick roll call. I'm Daggy Boy.
I'm Iliasio, also known as Ulvind.
And I'm Flicky. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, so we've got a few issues with the internet currently at the moment, so if something goes wrong, that's why. Just stick with us, guys. But hopefully we'll have no issues and we'll have some chill time SSX and see some great running. Aside from that, I believe we're mostly ready to go. Daggy, is there anything you want to say before you start?
No, except hope you all will enjoy the run.
Sweet, good shit.
Right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. And here we go.
Alright, so welcome to the world of SSX3. In this run, we basically have a split between race events where you just race to the bottom of the track as fast as possible,